friends, and welcome to a fantasy reading vlog. It took me a long time to realize that I have been in the mood to read some fantasy lately, and so I had the idea to get some fantasy books checked off my list, but I didn't know where to start. Sometimes picking the books can be the hardest part, sometimes because I just have no ideas, rarely that though, usually because I have too many ideas. So I thought, why not read the most popular fantasy books? Now, who decides what is the most popular? This time I let Goodreads decide, and I found the books that were the most tagged fantasy for the week, and I am going to be reading books off of this list for the next week or so, and so I thought I would take you along for this journey. We will see if they're for me. Usually popular is like a bit of an anti-buzzword, but certain popular books sound really interesting to me. Plus, it worked out that one of the ones on the list is a book I have from the library right now, and that is What the River Knows. So this is going to be my first read of the vlog. I got this out from the library fairly recently, and then I forget what it's about. So let's read the flap here. Bolivian Argentinian Inez belongs to the glittering upper society of 19th century Buenos Aires, and like the rest of the world, the town is steeped in old world magic that's been largely left behind or forgotten. Inez has everything a girl must want, except for the one thing she yearns for the most, her globe-trotting parents who frequently leave her behind. That kind of just gives me like Dora the Explorer action film kind of vibes. Side note, I love that movie. It's hilarious. It embraces the awkwardness that is Dora. When she receives word of their tragic deaths, Inez inherits their massive fortune and a mysterious guardian, an archaeologist in partnership with his Egyptian brother-in-law. Yearning for answers, Inez sails to Cairo, bringing her sketch pads and a golden ring her father sent her for safekeeping before he died. But upon her arrival, the old world magic tethered to the ring pulls her down a path where she discovers there's more to her parents' disappearance than what her guardian led her to believe. Yeah, for some reason I'm totally getting Dora vibes. That's kind of funny. Maybe it's the South American vibes, which I hardly ever read any books set in or about South Americans, and I'm excited to read some, or at least this one. If you guys have other suggestions, I would love to hear it. And then, yeah, the parents' disappearance. So this is going to be my first pick. I've heard really great things about this book from people that I trust, so that's good. It's dedicated to Rebecca Ross, who is a great author. We've got a map of Egypt. Okay, so we're not actually going to be in South America. We're in Egypt. Oh, she sails to Cairo. Okay, that makes sense. The prologue starts August 1884. And when's the rest of the book set? Part 1 is November 1884. Oh. The first sentence of the prologue is, "A letter changed my life," which I think is a pretty good first sentence because that makes me wonder, like, how did it change your life? What's in this letter? I want to know more, and I love first sentences that can do that. So let's start with this book, and after I'm done, we will see where we go from there. Okay, good morning, guys. I wanted to give an update on What the River Knows. I read how many pages yesterday? I'm on page 48, which as usual puts me in the middle of a chapter. We follow Inez. She is in Buenos Aires at the beginning of the book. She gets a notification, a letter. Her parents' solicitor comes and tells her her parents have disappeared. / maybe died. They don't really know. They assume they're dead. It's a book. I assume they're not dead. And she turns 19 here at the beginning of the book, and she decides to kind of run away from her aunt and her cousins to hop on a boat that takes her a month to get to Egypt. And she's going to find her uncle and find out what happened to her parents. There's also like this magic. Her father mailed her a magic ring a month or two before they disappeared. And so when Inez gets to Egypt, she's expecting to be met by her uncle, but some guy that works for her uncle, probably a love interest here, is there to meet her. And so they had like a kind of a negative interaction. He was told to get her back on the boat to go back home. And she just leaves him with all her bags, and she hops on a train to get to the hotel where she wants to stay, where she knows that her parents have always stayed. And then we get this guy's perspective. I think his name is Wit. And I instantly was like, is this some kind of time travel thing happening here? Because he talks very modern. He does not talk like a guy from 1884 when we're in his head, especially. Like the first thing he did was swear, and it felt very not 1884. And I don't know if that is just a sign of like kind of poor writing, or is there some kind of time travel thing happening here? I really like some of the magic stuff. So the idea is there used to be, I don't know, I guess magicians that could cast magic spells on objects. So right at the beginning of the book, she's hiding from her cousin in this magical bathtub. Somehow if she goes into it, if a person doesn't come too close, you can't tell that there's someone in there. And there's like books that can bite you or make you feel pity, or like, I don't think people could always choose, or people don't always know what the magic is. So it's not like magical items are necessarily like the greatest thing ever. A lot of people want to avoid them because they're not like a positive thing. But this ring that Inez got from her father, it's somehow like kind of powerful-ish. It kind of like transferred the magic her father had into her. I'm not really sure. But when she's on the train to go to the hotel, some guy just steals it from her. Like, he's like, oh, beautiful ring, can I see it? And then he takes it off her finger and he refuses to give it back. And then he tells people that, I don't know, she sold it to him or something. And I hate those kind of situations in books where I just want the character to like push the guy down and try to get her ring back. She let him hold it for way too long. Like, there was so many red flags there and warning lights going off for me. Overall, curious to see where the book goes. Because the one character, I mean, we're in Egypt, but because the one character doesn't really talk like he's from 1884, I'm wondering if her parents have disappeared into like a different time. But yeah, just all guesses and stuff from here. Yeah, my door rattles when people go in and out sometimes. So I don't think I will be doing any more reading today. My youngest turned 5 last week, and she's having a little pool party in the backyard with a couple friends today. And then I'm going to be packing because tomorrow we are taking a trip to the mountains. And so I'm going to be taking the book there. And I don't know how much I'll read while we're there, but it will be a few hours on the road. And so I'll get some reading done there, and I will check in once I get a little farther along. I am back from the trip. I didn't know if I would be able to update while we were gone, and it turns out we were just go, go, go in kind of all the best ways. So I didn't get a chance to talk about my reading. So let's do that now. The first thing is I had fully intended to bring What the River Knows on the trip. And then the night before, I read a bit more and I was still planning on bringing it. And then the morning of, I was like, you know what? I'm just too bored for this to be the book that I bring along. So I decided to DNF the book, quit it. I didn't know that would be allowed in my little challenge here to read some of the most popular fantasy books, but I'm allowing it because why read a book that I'm bored about? Our main character was just kind of too bland, and I looked it up. I looked up some reviews. To my knowledge, there's no time travel. So this one character is just so out of the time period. Yeah, it's kind of cringy as far as the writing goes then. And I just didn't care enough to read anymore. So I think I got to like 75-ish pages in and decided to quit it. So the book I decided to take along was Powerless. And I will share some of the footage from the trip and then I'll come back and tell you a little bit about it. Definitely my highlights of day one were the hike. We did a 5.5 kilometer hike, saw so many waterfalls. The bears that we saw, I really don't know how well it picked up on video, but there was a mother black bear and at least one cub, maybe two. I saw some rustling that could have been a second one, but I didn't really see a second one. We just saw a bunch of people pulled over on the side of the road looking at something and we're like, hey, let's pull over and see what we can find. And it took us a little while. And then, yeah, we spotted her, the mother in the bush eating some berries, having a bunch of people watching her. It was pretty fun. So the synopsis for Powerless is we are set in a world where there are the elite that have magical powers and the ordinary who do not. And the ordinary are being purged by the king. He's killing them off. Actually, he's getting one of his sons, who is the enforcer, to kill them off. So he's got two sons. One is the future king and the other one is the enforcer. He is the torturer, the murderer, like he has been raised that way. And so the enforcer is one of our main characters. And our other main character is this girl named Payden. The enforcer, his name is Kai. And Payden is an ordinary, disguising herself as someone with some magical abilities. She's pretending she's a psychic, but she's very like Sherlock Holmesy. She can pick up on clues and deduce things that way. Years earlier, Payden's father got murdered and it was the king who murdered him. And so she's not a big fan of the royal family. She has been living on the streets ever since because she couldn't keep up the house and stuff like that. So she's a thief, she's a pickpocket, she's really good at stealth. right at the beginning of the book, she sees this guy in the slums, which is called Loot, that she decides to pickpocket, steal some coins from. Turns out it's Prince Kai, the enforcer, but she manages to distract him, steal his money, and then he starts getting beat up by a silencer, which is someone that, I don't know, can suck powers, silence powers. I don't really understand how that works. And she goes and actually saves Prince Kai. She doesn't know who Prince Kai is, nothing of the sort, but she saves him. We learn pretty quickly that while Prince Kai has been raised to be this enforcer, the murderer, do the dirty work of the king and the future king, he has a bit of a soft heart. There's a scene right at the beginning where he finds an ordinary that is being a child who is being hidden by a family that does have powers, and the family is exiled to the Scorches, I think, and he's technically supposed to kill the child, but he very secretly actually just gets the child to go with the family. So we're supposed to see that this guy, he actually has a heart, which is good, but also like he's still a murderer. It's a very interesting like nurture versus nature conversation there that a person can have. And so when Peyton is saving Prince Kai, or actually when she's stealing from him, he kind of realizes either she's an ordinary, there's some reason he can't detect her powers, because his power is being able to use other people's powers. He can just I don't know how that works. I don't know if people notice that he's using them. So if like there's a healer nearby, he can heal someone with the healer's powers, but he can't sense hers. And so she says it's because she can't always control her powers, or maybe she's blocking her mind from him with her psychic ability, etc. So that's the story there. Come along with me for day 2 and maybe end 3 of our trip, and then I'll tell you some of my thoughts on this book so far. Day 2 was a lot of fun as well. I mean, Canmore is such a beautiful town. It was fun to just walk the town, go to the thrift store. I did not buy The Mysteries of Udolpho. I was tempted. I put up a poll on Instagram. It was leaning towards I should definitely buy it, but I was already not there. I was back at the hotel at the time, and I never really got a chance to go back. Plus, it was $5, and I'll keep my eye out for it in the future. Hopefully pick it up. But also I have like so many other classics that I want to read that I already own. I think I'm mostly okay with leaving it for now, but I would definitely like to read it at some point. Some thoughts on Powerless. I'm overall really enjoying it. When does it start? So it kind of goes Hunger Games-esque at some point, because Peyton gets elected to be part of the trials, which is kind of Hunger Games-esque. It's not completely fight to the death, but there are these trials and people die. And so she is in it, and so is Kai. And it's interesting because there's obviously an enemies to lovers thing going on here, but Peyton really can't give in, because if Kai knew what she was, that she's an ordinary, they're told that ordinaries infect people that are gifted and suck their powers. This is like a lie the prince or the king has been telling for years. And if he found out that Peyton was an ordinary, he would have to kill her. So I don't know how long that's gonna go on, but I think I have like under 100 pages left now, and I have really been enjoying it. The whole obvious attraction between Kai and Peyton is a little bit more than I would prefer, but because nothing can really happen, at least for a little bit. I guess it's a trilogy. I thought it was only a duology, so I'm a little less interested knowing that it's a trilogy. But there's a lot of things I am liking. I like Peyton as a character. She's very spunky. She says it like it is. She's not afraid to go against the crowd. She's fun. And I do like seeing her break down walls, not only with Kai, but with his brother Kit, and how she can use her fighting abilities while other people are using their magical abilities. She's pretty good without them. Yeah, so I mean, at this point, I don't know how much to say because I don't want to give spoilers, but overall, enjoying it, and I will share more once I finish it. Might be able to finish it today, not exactly sure, today or tomorrow, and then I will share my thoughts and tell you what I'm reading next, because I've got that figured out now, but I want to tell you after I'm done this. Just a quick little reading update this morning because I finished Powerless last night and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I can't say much about the ending, of course, without it being spoilery, but I enjoyed how it ended. I feel like it leaves it open pretty well for book 2. I'm not sure if I should read, because there's 1.5. This is Powerless. 1.5 is Powerful. And should I read 1.5? Should I just jump into book 2? Well, let me know your thoughts if you've read the series and what you would suggest. And then when I got to the acknowledgements, I found the author thanked her Lord and Savior. And I was like, oh, I kind of wish I would have known this going in, because I kept waiting for the hammer to drop. And I thoroughly enjoyed the book. Kind of still the same thoughts as before. I really like our main characters. They're both very flawed. But, well, I feel like he's more flawed than she is. She doesn't have much for flaws. Maybe she could be more flawed. I feel like it's set up well for another book in the series, so hopefully I can get to that soon. And after DNFing the first book in this video series, I'm glad I enjoyed this one. One thing that I forgot to note is that there is a bit of swearing throughout this book. I just wanted to give that disclaimer out there because I know some people really don't like to read that. It wasn't a ton, but it is in there. Then I did read the first couple pages in my next book last night, and then I got too tired. And so my next book is The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. I do own this on ebook because we bought the Secret Projects via ebook, but I haven't got to this one yet, despite getting to the other ones very quickly after they came out. I feel like this is one I haven't really heard people talk about much. Is it the least favorite of the Secret Projects? This one is a Cosmere novel, and I think some of the other ones are set in the Cosmere, but this one's like more so related to it. I'm kind of, it's Sanderson, so I think it'll be good, but I'm a little bit hesitant because I think it's maybe not the best Sanderson. Yeah, I've read the first few pages, don't know what's going on, can't give you any kind of synopsis yet. So I'll read some more and then share what's going on. And this one's a like, for a fantasy novel, it's pretty short. It's under 400 pages. I didn't realize that. It does have really cool end papers. Love that. And there's a picture inside right away. And then the back has some end papers as well. Because it's a library book, I can't quite tell what's on the other side here. Is there a person here? Just a ship. I think it's just a ship. Yeah, so looking forward to reading another Sanderson. About time I got to the Sunlit Man. And I'll check in a little bit once I know what's going on with it. I just want to do a little check-in because I am approximately 100-ish pages, just over 100 pages into the Sunlit Man, and hopefully today's a bit of a rest day. The last week has been super busy. The weekend was crazy busy, no resting happened, so hoping to make up for that today and do some reading here, but I wanted to check in, share some thoughts about the book. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about it and some thoughts. First of all, this is one of the books that I've heard the least amount as far as Sanderson's secret projects. And Jared did tell me that he didn't think I would like it, like back when he was reading it. And then when I started it, he was like, yeah, I don't think you're really gonna like it. And it took me a good 60 pages to like get my bearings in this world, which is not usual for Sanderson. I mean, a fantasy world, it does take a little bit, but usually with Sanderson, I feel like we hit the ground running a little bit more. I did get a couple messages from people though that said they loved this book because I shared it on Instagram in my stories that I was reading it. And so that was interesting to me because I feel like previously I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it. So we're following this guy named Nomad. He somehow, I don't remember all the terminology, but he somehow ended up on this certain planet. He is fleeing from the Night Brigade, which I don't really know what that is. And this planet, they are fleeing from the sun. It seems like if you get touched by the sun, you die. And so they harvest a field every day and they're like constantly on the move to run away from the sun. There are some this is a Cosmere novel. There are some references to things in the Cosmere. I'm 100 pages and I'm kind of just confused. It hasn't gripped me. I don't care about our main character, Nomad, at all. I don't care about any of the side characters at this point. So I'm hoping to finish it today. It is a pretty quick and easy read. I haven't had much time to read and I'm already 100 pages in. So I think it should be easy enough to finish today. I'm just not interested. So hopefully I get more invested as I go. Yeah, because at this point I would put this down as my absolute least favorite Sanderson, which, like I said before, isn't really saying much. I do really like his books, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not getting into it yet. I'm realizing that this book is really lacking in the humor for me. That's one thing I feel like Sanderson always does so well. And there's like little glimpses of it. Our main character is capable of humor, but there's just not enough of it for me in this book. There's too much doom and gloom and people are trying to survive, and not enough lightheartedness going on. But I'm hoping to finish it today. This is my goal. I'm almost halfway through. I think there's like 390 pages, so yeah, pretty much halfway through. And I keep wanting to stop. Like I'm kind of getting bored and want to go do other things, but also I want to just finish it. So gonna try to do that. Actually surprised myself and managed to finish The Sunlit Man. Thankfully I enjoyed the last 1/3 of it more than the first 2/3, which is too bad for the first 2/3, but means good things for the ending. I think it took me a little while, quite a while, to get to know the world, to get to know the characters, to care about some of the characters. I really feel like I was only starting to there at the end. Definitely lots of Cosmere references. If you haven't read, I don't know, a lot of Sanderson's Cosmere stuff, including the Stormlight Archive. I haven't read the current last book in it yet, but definitely you need some Cosmere. You should have some Cosmere background for it, I feel like. But it's definitely not going to go down as a favorite Sanderson of mine, which is interesting because I was reading not the acknowledgements, just the author's note at the end. And he wrote Tress and Yumi for his wife, the Secret Projects. He wrote The Frugal Wizard for himself, and he wrote this one for the readers. And Tress and Frugal Wizard are definitely my favorites. I don't know which one I like more. I would like to reread both. I really enjoyed both of them at the time. Definitely the lowest one for me is The Sunlit Man, even though the cover is beautiful. I could have saved this for September because it has a decent amount of orange on the cover, very autumnal. I'm glad to have read it anyway. So I read The Sunlit Man this week. I read Powerless and really enjoyed this one. Excited to continue this series. Please let me know if I should read the 0.5s. I actually just got 1.5, which is called Powerful. The ebook came in from the library today or yesterday, so should I read it? Let me know. And then, surprisingly to me, I ended up DNFing What the River Knows. If someone out there were to tell me this book is amazing, maybe I'd give it another try. But I've already kind of, explained my issues, especially that one character. I can't really get into this world. 1 week and I tried 3 of the most popular fantasy books right now with varying success. Definitely a little bit of everything. Loved one, DNF'd one, and had one that was like kind of all the feels all over the place, middle of the road. Have you guys read any of these? Did you like them? Did you not? What are some popular fantasy books that you've been reading lately that you've enjoyed? Whatever popular means, you can kind of choose your definition of popular. So thanks for hanging out with me for another reading vlog.